I, being a war hero and subsequently war hero is not the correct word, war veteran, and getting injured and coming out of the defense forces, key about the SSB interviews, how to perform, what we should be the physical activity, and all such things. 99 May, whatever I saw during the Kargil War, and subsequently 20 years later.
After World War II, Kargil War had used the highest equipments worldwide. Is it true?
I don't know how many of you would know about this. The then Chief of Army Staff General Ved Prakash Malik had made a statement. We will fight with whatever we have.
There was a film which has been released a few years back, Shershah. It was based on Captain Vikram Batra. So, is that movie really true?
सब मेरा मजाक उड़ा रहे थे साला तू तंबी है तू कैसे चढ़ेगा मैंने कहा सर मौका मिलने दो मैं आप मतलब नॉनवेज खाता नहीं हूँ बट रागी मुद्दे जोड़ रोटी इधर ना मौका मिलने से आप सब जल्दी क्लाइम कर दूंगा
We are very happy to have you today.
Well conducted. Good job done. Keep it up.
Namaskaran, namaste. Welcome back to the podcast episode. Today we have a very special person, Mr. Naveen Nagappa sir. Captain Naveen Nagappa sir. And we are very happy, and it's a great privilege for us to have you, sir, here. And we are gonna have few questions in this podcast. So shall we go with it?
Thank you. Firstly, thank you for having me on this platform and giving an opportunity to share my experiences as well as certain stories of soldiers, unsung heroes rather.
Thank you, sir. So we'll go with simpler questions. Okay. So in this college, we all are studying engineering. So we are considered as the youth of the nation. This particular age, whoever are in this particular age are considered as youth. So related to youth, I have a question. That is, how can the youth contribute to national security and defense?
Okay. I, being a war hero and subsequently war hero is not the correct word, war veteran, and getting injured and coming out of the defense forces. And 99, the Kargil War happened.
Yes.
Not in any structured way, but yes, I am trying to coach the youngsters, motivate the youngsters to join the defense forces. There are a lot of people who approach me about the SSB interviews, how to perform, what we should be the physical activity, and all such things. I always take time to guide them, motivate them, and so that they get into the SSB, have their dream of donning the uniform. But a word of caution I always tell them when they go for SSB, the selection rate in service selection board is just about 2 to 3%. Yep. So there are around 97% of the people will get rejected.
Yeah.
That does not mean you are good for nothing. It just means that your personality, your leadership qualities, your acumen doesn't match that of the army.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean that's the end of life. You're good for nothing. No, maybe you're better suited for something else. So I always tell them that. And next thing I would like to convey to the youth is, it is not necessary that you have to don the uniform. Only then you have to serve the motherland. It's not so.
Yes, sir.
Being in the civil sector also, being a responsible citizen itself is a service to the nation.
Yeah. So, sir, during your time, the armed forces in a way, and now, how did the armed forces change from that time to this time? Now, present day.
Okay. 99 May, whatever I saw during the Kargil War, and subsequently 20 years later, when I went to the same feature, when the same area.
Yes, sir.
One thing is for sure, the infrastructure has been built up to very good standards, where we used to take days to march up to that place and then start the attack. Nowadays, you can take the vehicle straight away right beneath that feature. The infrastructure has become really excellent.
Yes, sir.
On top of that, the equipments for that matter. I don't know how many of you would know about this. The then Chief of Army Staff General Ved Prakash Malik had made a statement. We will fight with whatever we have.
Yeah.
That itself indicates that we were not fully geared up to fight a battle. And that too, at that terrain, at that altitude, we were not geared up. But still, an Indian Army soldier, being the way he is, unmindful of the fact that we didn't have sufficient or the best of the equipments.
Yes, sir.
He performed to the best of his ability, and he produced wonderful results. I mean, back to your question, comparison wise, what was there? Of course, there has been a quantum jump in the technology as such, and our technological imbibe or whatever equipments we are buying has also improved. Are trying to keep pace with the technology which has been moving ahead.
And actually, I have studied in a news article that after World War II, Kargil War had used the highest equipments worldwide. Is it true?
May not be. I'm not privy to this information. But what we should all understand here is that was the first time Bofors. Bofors is an artillery gun. Bofors, we all know about Bofors gun. It's an area weapon, and it's an artillery gun in the sense it has got a range of about 30 odd kilometers. Once you fire, the projectile goes and falls somewhere. If you throw it in the air, then it drops.
Yes.
But in Kargil War, the improvisation what we had done was the Bofors gun was used in direct fire. When I say direct fire, the Bofors gun is pitched here. The feature where we want to fire upon is right visible to you, and you are hitting the projectile on a direct as a direct target. That was one improvisation. Bofors was to some extent, I don't call it a face-saving equipment, but yes, it did a tremendous job there.
Yes.
This was the improvisation. A lot of artillery shelling had happened. Because the counter shelling was also happening, the enemy was also firing, conducting shelling at us. So the large number of ammunition was used, but I don't think it is equivalent to what we cannot compare it with World War.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, there was a film which has been released a few years back, Shershah. It was based on Captain Vikram Batra. So, is that movie really true? All the things whichever happened in the movie, was it true, or else was there anything improvised?
Okay, rather if should I ask the question, who is more handsome, either Siddharth Malhotra or Vikram Batra? Probably that would have been an appropriate question. I still wonder what would be the answer.
Whom do you think, sir?
I would rate Captain Vikram Batra any day. The legend he was, the aura he used to carry with him, the courage, the bold he used to, jhalakta tha unse.
Yeah.
Siddharth Malhotra looks good, like he is more like a chocolate boy, looking good, but
Yes.
may not exactly fit into the shoes of Captain Vikram Batra, because the task which he had performed is unparalleled.
Yeah.
Nobody can fit his.
Yes, sir.
Coming back to your question, yes, they did a reasonably good job. Of course, it's being a commercial entity, they have to take care of the commercial angle as well. The difference, what I noticed was, being an army personnel, we get into so much of details that may not be really visible to a civilian's eyes.
Yes.
What I noticed was, we fought at an altitude of 17,000 feet.
Yeah.
Of course, they couldn't have possibly taken the cameras, the entire equipment, the entire crew at that altitude. So they shot at a very low altitude.
Yeah.
One notice was that.
Yes, sir.
And secondly, for everybody to understand, for everybody to gauge, the bunkers and the sangars which were there, they were built at a ground level. So that, the person who is seeing it, the camera captures that a bunker or sangar, which is, is
a lower
above the ground level.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
It was not so in all the cases.
Yes.
It was beneath the ground level. So we were finding it difficult to clear those bunkers and sangars. Whereas in the movie, it is clear.
Yeah.
That is one aspect I found. Otherwise, they have reasonably done a good job. I keep noticing the uniforms which we used to wear vis-a-vis what was shown in this thing.
In the movie,
Was there any error? To a large extent, that has been taken care of. Apart from that altitude and apart from that bunkers which were projecting outside, which were clearly visible, rest everything, they tried to match it and they've done a good job.
Sir, as we spoke about altitude, you have gone to around 16,000, 17,000 feet. So, at that feet, the breathing is difficult. So, and you have to climb the altitude, and with many arms and the forces and all, how difficult was it?
Oh, as a matter of fact, I'm from down south. फौज में क्या होता है, महाराष्ट्र के नीचे जो होता है सबको तंबी बुलाते हैं. So I being from Karnataka never had seen those kind of altitudes, heights, barfila pahad. My unit is 13th Battalion Jammu and Kashmir Rifles, and the men are predominantly from Himachal Pradesh.
Okay.
So most of them would have
Already seen.
they would have definitely seen that. When the Kargil War started, when you got that altitudes, there's something called acclimatization. When I say acclimatization, your body, you cannot just take off and land somewhere at an altitude of 12,000, 13,000 feet. So what they do is to acclimatize so that your body get used to that kind of an atmosphere. They take you to 10,000. You stay there for a couple of days time, and then your body get used to it. Then you go to 11,000, 12,000 feet. Stay there for 2 days. This is how the acclimatization is done. But in Kargil War, during Kargil War, we didn't have the luxury of time.
Yeah.
So we were in a place called Sopur. Once a Kargil, we were into counter-insurgency operations. We were not on the line of control. We were not on border. Once Kargil War started, we were inducted there. And when I came there, सब मेरा मजाक उड़ा रहे थे, साला तू तो तंबी है, तू कैसे चढ़ेगा? मैंने कहा सर मौका मिलने दो, मैं आप मतलब नॉनवेज खाता नहीं हूँ, बट रागी मुद्दे, इधर ना मौका मिलने से आप सबसे जल्दी क्लाइम कर दूंगा.
Yeah.
As I told we didn't have that luxury, but yes, the task had to be done.
Yeah.
Imagine the consequences of we losing the battle. That was out of question. We never thought of losing the battle. But imagine now sitting here, imagine now whatever the consequences.
Yeah.
The enemy sitting on top, trying to cut off the Srinagar Leh highway. Imagine Leh getting cut off. Imagine Siachen, we are not able to supply arms and ammunition. We are not able to look after our men. They get isolated and they get attacked. What happens?
Yeah.
And it is 100 and today it's 140 crore people. Those days it was 100 crore people looking at the army. That something will be done by these men. The only hope that it's the army is the last mile of diplomacy.
Yes,
If we lose, what happens?
Yeah.
So then there was no way we could have let our nation down. There was no way we could have let our citizenry down. So that's how acclimatization, no acclimatization, shortage of arms, no proper equipment. The job had to be done. It was done by the Indian Army.
Today we all are here and we are staying peacefully. It's only because of you and your your team and the army forces even now who are fighting at the borders. It's them who are making us sleep peacefully, and we feel very proud, sir, for having such a great army. And not only army, navy and air force and all the inside security what is being given to the public. So we are very proud of that, sir. This is some diplomatic question actually. How government's role, the particular government which is there at that time, how was government's role in Kargil War?
As I told you, it was in the year 1999. That was during Vajpayee's government. The dictum for us was when the Kargil War started, when the government declared Operation Vijay. What Kargil War was codenamed as Operation Vijay. When it was declared, the dictum given to us was we will not cross the line of control. Whatever had to be done in our territory. Yeah. So that was one constraint. I may not fully agree with that. The reason being, the enemy has come into our territory, occupying certain heights. That means they are already at a certain advantage.
Yeah.
They are sitting on top, behind fortified bunkers. They are sitting behind boulders, able to see what's happening below. But we were to go and attack them in the open.
Yeah.
It is just not swimming against the tide. You are literally walking against the bullet. That makes the task more difficult.
Yeah.
Imagine now, when the enemy has an advantage in a certain area, it makes great military sense to open up another front and gain advantage in that front. So that permission was not given. Probably, I was a youngster then, just 6 months of service. We just know tactical battle.
Yes, sir.
That area, what has to be done, fight a battle, we know about that. But strategy, planning is done at a higher level. And diplomacy, it is done at a much higher level. So may not be fully aware of that fact. But the fact of the matter remains, at the end of the battle, once the Kargil War ceasefire was declared, and the entire international community had a liking, give a pat on our backs that India did a wonderful job. be it militarily as well as diplomatically, because we didn't cross this thing. We should also understand. It's easier said than done. We should also understand. Just about a year back, we had conducted nuclear blast. So the enemy also within 14 days when we conducted the blast, 14 days later they also conducted a nuclear blast.
Yeah.
So imagine the consequences if the war had escalated to a level.
Yeah.
What would have been the consequences? Probably that was one of the reasons that India or the government of India then decided we should not cross the line of control, and the matter gets escalated and goes beyond this thing. But yes, at the end of the war, when we won the battle decisively, the international community was, kudos to the government of India.
Yes, sir. Sir, how did your life change after this Kargil War?
Changed a lot in the sense, imagine I was commissioned in January 99. The Kargil War happened in May, June, July 99. So just 6 months of service, I got injured. Life in that, imagine that 23 years of age, 23, 24 years of age, having put in 6 months of service, seeing so many deaths, seeing so many pain, I've seen, I have gone through a life. वो बोलते हैं ना कि जिस रास्ते से हम गुजरे हैं, अगर आप गुजरते तो गुजर जाते हैं. It's such difficult times, seen so bad, worst of the times. I wish I've lived a life which I wish upon no one. But the bottom line is, if I get an opportunity to do something for the nation again, I don't mind. I have no regrets. As a matter of fact, I would like to live this life, the kind of life I have lived again and again. There's no small sacrifice for this nation. Just lost a part of my leg. All willing to do it again for the nation. My life has changed in the sense physically, yes. I have lost part of my leg. Both my legs have been pretty badly injured. I still carry that limb. But mentally, with the satisfaction that I got an opportunity, God has been kind, God has been great. That I got an opportunity to don the uniform, to get into the defense forces, to do something for the nation, fight a battle, and rub shoulders. As a matter of fact, it's a proud privilege for me that I got to fight on the feature called 4875, which is now known as Batra Top,
Yes.
with the legends like Captain Vikram Batra, who was awarded Paramveer Chakra post-Thomas, as well as Rifleman Sanjay Kumar. He was also awarded Paramveer Chakra, and I'm mighty thrilled that I got an opportunity and could do something for the nation.
Yes, sir. We like listening what all happened. It's so I'm feeling so privileged that I got a chance to talk to you, and I'm able to know the stories what happened there, and yeah. So before we close this, we being engineering students, how would you tell us or guide us to go into the armed forces?
I'm myself a mechanical engineer and joined the defense forces only because of the reason that I wanted to don the uniform. I was charmed by that uniform. I used to see my NCC officer, the way he used to conduct, the way he used to behave, the way he used to talk to others. That really fascinated me, and that is the time I decided there has to be a career for me. That has to be the defense forces. Now, what do I convey to the defense aspirants? See, if I mull over what I went through, I got selected in the very first attempt in the service selection board. And as a matter of fact, my earlier batch of 80, none of them got selected.
Yes.
When I entered the service selection board, I was taken aback. I'm talking about 97, 98. Those days, we didn't have internet. There was no awareness. When I entered SSB, I was taken aback because the set of people who had come there for the SSB interview, all of them either had defense background or had already undergone coaching. I was clueless.
Yeah.
I was just clueless. It's a 7-day procedure followed by another 7 days of medical test. I was not even aware that the first day screening will be conducted, and more than 50% of them will be thrown out the first day itself. I was not even aware of that. But when I went into the service selection board, saw what's happening there, realized that I asked myself this question. I do a lot of self-interrogation, self-questioning. I asked myself, Naveen, where do you stand? What are your chances? I told myself the results may not be in your hand, but the performance is definitely in your hand. So I decided I'll give it my best shot.
Yes, sir.
And I got selected. And I think in hindsight, if I think why I got selected was I didn't project myself to be somebody else.
Yeah.
I'm not for once saying that you don't attend training establishment, you don't undergo coaching. You should. But at the same time, For a particular question, don't give a tailored answer. What has been taught to you, don't give that answer. Don't try to fake yourself in front of the selection committee.
Yes, sir.
The selection committee will be able to easily identify who is faking it and who is talking from the bottom of their heart. I spoke from the bottom of my heart. That may be the reason I got selected. So one good advice is coach yourself, train yourselves, be aware, but don't fake yourself. Be what you are in front of.
Yes.
Your chances of getting selected will enhance.
Yes, sir. So with this, I'm gonna end this podcast. But before ending it, it's a great privilege, sir. Once again, we are very proud of you, and we are very happy to have you today. At an early stage, we have recently started the podcasts, and we are very happy to have you here. And I thank you a lot, sir. And from bottom of my heart, I thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Very well conducted. Good job done. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. So this is our podcast with Captain Naveen Nagappa, sir. And with more podcasts will be here so soon. So do watch the full video, and thank you, guys.